This is my live audience. I could only get 3 people, but we'll make do. All right. So my name is Isaac. I'm going to be talking about the occupation known as a tree climber or an auto-lista. I interviewed my boss, Danny Mendoza, who obviously my boss who I work with. And I've been working with him for over 6 months now. Okay, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So, according to science, chimpanzees, monkeys, apes are our native ancestors. And, obviously, they love to be in trees. So, it's said that during evolution, what separated us from the monkeys is that they stayed in the trees and we came to the ground. And a majority of humans are comfortable with just being on the ground. Many people that I know, and I'm sure that you know, are afraid of heights. Me personally, I also used to be afraid of heights. But through this job and through going to roller coasters, climbing trees, obviously, I've gotten over the fear, and I'm glad that I have. So, this is a job that brings out your inner monkey to say, tree climbing. It's the ultimate feat of becoming one with the trees with all the proper equipment, obviously. So, I'm going to say that tree climbing, tree trimming is no easy job. It requires plenty of training, getting over the fear of heights, having to work in harsh conditions like the really hot sun here in Texas, or sometimes cold weather, or the rain. But in the end, it's something that can pay very well, and you might have some fun with it. So first things first, what is it and what does it take to be a tree climber? So before my boss Danny was doing trees, he was doing roofing and house remodeling. So he was already used to the blue collar kind of work. And he was doing roofing, so obviously he's perfectly fine with heights. He was not afraid of heights at all. He started doing trees because he wanted to help a friend out. So a friend said, "Hey Danny, come work with me. I got this kind of job." And he said, "Sure, why not?" And when he started working with his friend, he realized the opportunity that there is in tree service. As soon as he realized how much money there is to be made, he said, okay, and he ended up starting his own business. According to ZipRecruiter, it doesn't require any kind of degree or license to become a tree climber. It says you may need a high school diploma or GED. Additionally, an associate degree in arboriculture or related field may give you an advantage, but like I said, not required. Surprisingly, for being as dangerous it is to say being in a 30, 40-foot tree, tied up by a rope, doesn't even need any big qualifications or licenses, but that's what it is. But it's definitely not as easy as just climbing up trees. It does require some training, and just the biggest thing is getting over the fear of heights. Because honestly, it's not so easy whatsoever. It's very physically and mentally demanding, and knowing what's at risk. For example, your life, even though it's not as dangerous as you think it is. So in an article that I read, so you want to be a tree climber, the guy said that it was a dangerous job that took me to a new office every day, never a boring day when chainsaws were involved. I was excited about the work and loved the crew that I was learning from. If anybody knows how tough the job is, it's definitely my boss Danny. He's been doing tree trimming, tree climbing for over 10 years, and he knows how challenging it is. And believe me, I started doing it pretty recently too, and I know how challenging it can be. The biggest part, like I said, it took me months to get into it because I was scared to climb the trees. I was scared to actually get up there. I had to learn how to make the actual knot. I had to learn the difference between cutting these branches, cutting these moss balls. There's lots of little things to go behind it. But all in all, the biggest thing is getting over fear of heights. And I know how hard it is from personal experience because I remember the first time that I almost fell off. It was actually the second or third time that I actually climbed up on the tree. It was very open, and I knew that I didn't have my footing right. I had the feeling I was gonna fall before I even fell. So I was on top of a branch, and I stepped back, and then I fell back, and it scared me. But luckily, I had the harness on. I had all the proper equipment on. I had the rope. So if we have a knot, You can squeeze it, it loosens it, and you can pull it back and it tightens it, you know, to move freely and, you know, be safe. Very scary, but very humbling in a way. So, how the job of tree trimming pays and the potential growth. So when I first started, I was very surprised to see how much money people were actually spending on trees. To me, trees were just, you know, plants. It was never a big deal to me until the first day that I started working as a salesman with them. And then he gave a price, which I was like, wow, that's a big number, but I gave it to him and they said, okay. And I was like, wow, people pay money for this stuff. So that's kind of, you know, I kind of realized the opportunity in the business too, just to succeed. So Danny is the boss. He actually owns the business that we work for. So, I mean, he gets paid pretty good, obviously. I also get paid pretty decently. I can make upwards of 100 to a day. I can make more than 200 a day. You know, it varies on how hard you work and the kind of person you are and how much experience you got. That's a big thing. According to Zipia.com, they supposedly get paid upwards of above $16 an hour. I'm sorry, which is decent, but if you find the right crew, the right people to work with, you can get paid much more. So yeah, tree trimming, you know, tree climbing, it can pay pretty good. It seems incredibly terrifying at first, but trust me, I went through it all, and I'm still going through it, honestly. But the way that it can help you get over some of your fears, build your character, and how my coworkers always tell me, ponte las pilas y échale ganas.
Got it.